Welcome to the Qualified Gamer Guys podcast. I'm your host, Steve. With me, as always, is Neil. How are you today, Neil? It's Monday, May 18th.
Monday sucks, but we're one day away from the greatest release of all time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No matter what you...
2 weeks ago, Neil didn't even care about The Witcher, and now he texts me like 400 times a day, like, oh man, The Witcher, I can't wait. It's going to be the best game.
I texted you a picture of a map that I must have stared at for a good 45 minutes of just like the country.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. Not in you, and the fact that we didn't get any emails. See, what we did was we prematurely shot our wad because we got an email and a piece of fan art last week. So
yeah, it was, and you can't help but be a little bit let down after such a high last week.
So get your asses in gear, listeners. All right, we'll open the podcast by saying what we always say about Core Gamer. You can head over to coregamer.com. That's core with a K. Enter in your email, and you'll be receiving the biggest in gaming news daily. This week in video game release history time, Neil. Actually, a game that controversially you did not enjoy. Came out May 18th, 2010, and it's Red Dead Redemption. 5 years ago today. This is one of my top 10 favorite games of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I love it. I played that game for hours, and it was one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played. Like, you actually felt like you're in the West. And that moment when you cross over to Mexico and that song keeps playing, oh my god. I really enjoyed it. Neil, more importantly, because like saying I enjoy it kind of preaches to the choir, because this is kind of universally liked. Why did you not like it?
So I guess I bet if I went back and played it now, I would probably enjoy it more. I loved Red Dead Revolver.
Okay, which is weird because nobody likes that game.
Before Red Dead Redemption, everybody loved that game. But that's what I was expecting.
Okay.
And it was not that at all. And I'm iffy on open world games, which is ironic because I can't wait for The Witcher 3. But the whole point that I'm going to actually talk about The Witcher 3 is that their side quests they're supposed to be like these really well thought out stories. And in Red Dead Redemption, A lot of the stuff felt like fetch quests, which I absolutely hate. And a lot of it felt like you would just like, you do this, and then you just ride through the desert, and it's like, oh, look, there's like some sort of leopard over there. I guess I could kill that if I want to. But I'm just going to keep riding on to some other thing, which I guess, and of course, it always comes down to that. I got this through GameFly, so I always had I had that crunch on me.
You had to rush through it.
Yeah, so I didn't even finish it because I didn't care about the story at all. But I felt like if I would to play that now at my own pace, I probably would like it more. But at the time, I did not like this game at all. I don't, except for Grand Theft Auto 5, I generally don't like Rockstar games, which is a crazy thing to say. Believe it or not, you might believe that.
Well, I honestly I like Rockstar games, but they're not my favorite. My favorite Rockstar game of all time is actually Bully.
Never played that one.
It's very, very, very good. It was so much fun. Like, I can't even explain it. You just kind of have to look it up. Like, there's just like, the whole aspect of going to like the boarding school, and like the fact that going to class would help you like gain skills. Stuff like that was fun. But anyway, Red Dead. Another aspect of Red Dead that needs to be taken into account for how great it is it had the single greatest downloadable content pack of all time, in my opinion, in the Undead Nightmare, because it added an entirely separate 10-hour story, and it transformed the entire world into like a zombie Dead Rising type game. So it was just really fun, and it was like $15.
Yeah, and they eventually would sell that separate, right? Like you could just buy that.
They sold it, as a standalone,
which I considered getting because was really cool that they did that. That they was like, hey, let's just make this entire thing zombies, and
it's such a good idea, and it was awesome. And the story in that was great.
I didn't know it came with a story. I thought it just like changed the world, and there was a couple of quests. I didn't know there was like a whole story to it.
It had its own campaign that was really lengthy. It was probably I played. It was probably 10 hours. So it's
cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 5 years ago today. Today is the day we are recording this. I'm sure a lot of people have played it, obviously. it always shows up in like the best games of last gen. So
I guess maybe that's another reason it was so popular is to think. I'm just gonna rewind that entire statement when I looked at the date of 2000. I was gonna say because it was pushing the last generation, but it didn't push it as much. It was a big
that
world.
was actually exactly halfway.
Yeah. That's why I was winding it back. Like, oh, well, it's towards the end of the lifetime of the generation. And I was like, no, it's not at all.
That was 3 years and 6 months through a 7-year generation. So it was like literally exactly through. It was, I mean, good game.
I think at the time though, it was a world that big was still pretty
Oh,
impressive.
it was amazing. Like another thing, like in Rockstar games, I always feel like the characters are a dime a dozen. I thought that the NPCs that you encountered, maybe not, outside the story, but in the story, I think the NPCs that you encounter are some of the most memorable characters I can remember. The guy who sells you the snake oil, he's awesome. The bandit, obviously I can't remember names because I played it 5 years ago, but the bandit that you meet in Mexico who's like got all these antics that he gets you up to, he's really cool. So yeah, I like that part. And I mean, do you know how it ends? Like I feel like I can spoil it. It's 5 years old.
He dies.
Yeah, but like he dies in the most badass way possible. You like go into you like no so like basically you finish the main quest and then like there's like a couple missions where like you're just teaching your son how to tend to the farm and it's like it's like 5 years after the end of the game. It's like you're just like teaching your son how to like herd up cattle and all of a sudden like you hear in the distance that like the cops are coming for you. So you hide your family in the barn and then you open the barn door and standing in like a semicircle around you are like 50 cops and it goes into that slow-mo mode and you go across and you know how you can like choose what you want to shoot.
Yeah.
You choose, but you can only choose 6 because you have 6 bullets in your chamber and like it comes out of slow-mo and you shoot the 6 guys but then they just light you up. You get shot against the barn doors with like your son and your wife inside and like that's only the first ending. There's a true ending which is that your son, after he dies, you start playing as his son, and if you go to Mexico in the certain like area, this isn't even marked on the map, you'll find the sheriff that killed your dad, and his like horse is like stuck in the water. So you go up and pretend to help him, and when he turns his back on you, you shoot him in the back, and it just splashes across the screen. Red Dead Redemption, because the whole game was based around the fact that your son was going to redeem your death eventually. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool. I didn't know the whole son part. I knew that like you'd die in like some shootout kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really, and it's like that's like such a big payoff. Like when you find that, because like it doesn't put a mark on your map. Like you become his son, you're like, oh, that's cool. That's like it's like maybe like 10 years after because he's grown up. Yeah. It's like, oh, that's like a really cool way to be able to continue the story. You're just playing as John Marston's son, Jack. But then, like, you stumble upon the guy and this cutscene starts because, like, you're bound to go there because it's, like, the only bridge that leads to Mexico. And, like, you see it and you're like, oh, shit, that's the guy who killed my dad. And then you get to murder him in cold blood. And then steal his wagon or whatever. And he's got, like, a awesome shotgun in there. But anyway, so moving on. We're going to go to the new releases. Neil, there's nothing big coming out this week, right?
Nothing. Not a one.
So The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt comes out tomorrow. PS4, Xbox One, PC. And why are you so excited for this, Neil? I mean, it's a game that I'm kind of interested in playing, but like I just don't have the time for it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll probably have to wait to a time in my life where I have more time.
Every time you say that, you never actually commit to the buy. Like you were like, I'll get Watch Dogs when it's a little cheaper, and I think it was like $12.
Like I wouldn't even wait for this to be cheaper. Like I would pay $60 for this, but the time commitment's what getting me. And plus, it might just be a Bloodborne situation in reverse, where you're gonna get it, and I'll probably watch you play it a little bit, and then I'll probably have to end up getting it. So,
well, we can only hope. But as we've been saying, The Witcher has always kind of intrigued me a little bit. But I think the first game was only PC, and the second game, it didn't look fun to play. Like it looked like there was a good story and stuff to it, but it looked really clunky, and that's what people said that was like the main fault. That like it's a difficult game because of controls, and it sounds like they just fixed all of that in The Witcher 3. They say it's the most like accessible game for new people.
Okay.
And so I wasn't really. I'm trying to think of what did it, why I was suddenly so excited. Because I went from not caring about The Witcher to like literally an hour later being obsessed with it. And I can't even think. I think it was just diving into the world. I think I read, maybe it was a review or like a recap, just to get like the full picture of it, and to know that this guy and what you can do in this world is actually insane. Like the amount of quests they have and stuff that happens. And I mean, like we were saying in Red Dead Redemption, there's always side quests and stuff like this. But I was just watching one quest unfold where a guy like you didn't have to help this guy, you didn't have to see him, it had nothing to do with anything. But if you happen upon him, he'll tell you this story that like something is haunting a well, and then you have to go and you investigate the area. It's almost like Batman's detective mode, kind of a little bit, not that cheesy, I'll say, but he does have like these senses kind of thing or whatever.
He's got powers, is what you're telling me.
He has powers because he's like genetically altered with these potions, something like that. So
I don't know if you know this now. I played the first Witcher on the computer.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I did. Go on.
Yeah. So
I didn't want to interject. I just wanted to put that in there. So like I'm familiar with like
the whole background,
the story, and everything.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So and I didn't know that. And so when I learned that, I was more intrigued by the whole premise of like The Witcher is like this bounty hunter kind of thing, monsters that everybody hates, but they all need because they need them to come and kill a person or kill a monster, and then like, all right, go away, we don't want you anymore because you cause trouble.
Okay.
But the way they go through the quests and hunt these monsters, like you find all these clues. You have to like you'll in this particular well, you'll like get a journal, and you don't really have to read it. You know, if you pick it up, it will tell you where to go next. But if you actually read it, it will like kind of have like a journal entry where this one woman talks about this crazy guy, and then you go and you read like another entry, and you can like see blood on the walls, and you know like this guy came for this girl and like threw her down a well, and she's haunting the well now. And then you have to be like, all right, well, if she's haunting this well and she died as like a maiden or something like that, then she's going to be this particular kind of ghost. And then you have to go into your bestiary and look up the kind of ghost it is or whatever, and see what the weaknesses are to it. And then you have to go and like brew. If you want to, you can just fight it head up, or you can like brew a potion and get like your stuff in order, and then you can go fight it and have an advantage.
Yeah.
So I like it's and that planning aspect to it, which could easily get annoying if it's done too much. I can't say for sure yet. But the thought that it's like, hey, look, and he'll say it too. He'll be like, oh, this is like this kind of Wiccan or something. I should get this potion. And then you can see, like, in the gameplay, you can see how much it does. And it kind of reminds me, I don't want to compare it to Bloodborne, but the thought that, like, when you go into Bloodborne battle, you get demolished until you know what they can do. And then using that planning, you can take it. That's kind of what this reminds me of, the fact that you plan out the battle before it happens, and then you go in. And so that's really cool to me, besides the fact that the game looks beautiful. Did you, like, see any screenshots?
Yeah, I've seen it. I watched the Clueless Gamer, Conan, and then... and like, you know, I've seen screenshots. I have been following it. This is my concern.
Okay.
I am concerned that the combat is not going to be satisfying for two reasons. One, coming from a third-person action game in Bloodborne, where the combat's so tight and it's so tactical, to kind of looks like a hack and slash. I don't know how exciting I'm going to be for that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like that's why I'm kind of trying to put space in between them, because like I'm still in that Bloodborne mode where like I want to like play a game where like every strike matters, and everything I've seen so far, you pretty much just mash the button. So
yeah, I actually know what you mean, because it's an honest concern that Bloodborne has ruined other games for me, because it was so much fun to play, and that it was a near perfect game. And the thing about The Witcher that people I can't tell until I play it myself, which I will happily tell you next week, but Steve gets to do it earlier. Hear me earlier rant about this game.
Of course.
Is since it's more accessible, they definitely, I think it is more hack and slash than what it was previously, at least from what I'm reading. It used to be a very tactical game where you had to be like, you could still get overwhelmed by too many enemies. It was more about dodging and getting a returning counterattack than just like mashing the button. And now it seems like if you do mash the button, you'll probably survive. Mm-hmm. But watching the gameplay and reading stuff, I've seen that the best way to kill things is to get like a counter or a critical hit, and to do that involves like dodging and like kind of like looping around. And it very easily could be just get in there and mash the square button,
Of course.
and that's it, and you're good. But from what I'm seeing, for some like for the lesser enemies, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get into like a bigger battle or a group of people, they're like being very tactical about it, and that's what I want to see. I'm kind of excited about that. The combat, because that's what prevented me from the first Witcher and the second one, is I thought the combat looked bad, and it looks better to me in this one, but it may not be, so I can't say for sure. But I'm looking forward to finding that out at least.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure you'll like it, but I mean, it's obviously gotten ridiculous reviews as well. So
That's the other thing that like I was expecting it to do okay, but it's doing like really well. And
so
I guess it's also worth saying if you like right now, if you bought it on the PSN on PlayStation Network, you could play it like tonight, which I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Or I probably would have done it. Like I think 7:00 when we're recording this right now it's like 7:30.
Oh.
You could totally be playing the game. Which, as I sit here, that's a really big deal to me because I want to be playing the game. But at the same time, when it's tomorrow, it's not going to matter at all. Because I'm going to be at work and I'm going to get home and get it. But I just... Yeah. Tomorrow is just going to be Witcher 3 all day long.
Yeah, well, other than your girlfriend being there.
Man. You know what it's going to be, Steve?
What?
Life is Strange Episode 3.
Okay, great segue.
Yeah.
So you're excited about this as well, right?
Yeah, but I don't have to talk about it as long because I talk about it every time. It's just the story. It looks like this is going to be the episode that kind of reveals some answers to like the overall mystery. It involves the characters like breaking in and starting the plot line to trying to figure things out. When the first one was like intro and the second one was kind of about the power she has and like the limitations of it. And this episode looks like they're really starting to dive into the story. So I'm hoping it's good. Might be teenage drama. Can't say for sure. But I have enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and unless if it's something extremely boring, which I don't think it will be, I'll probably enjoy this one as well.
I'm sure you will. This keeps reminding me I need to play the Borderlands episode 2, which I might do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I that's like a one night, just 2-hour thing, and I finished Box Boy and I finished Mortal Kombat, so I'm just kind of like playing games.
Yeah, you need that little game that's not a commitment.
Yeah,
just to entertain you a little bit.
I'm bridging myself until Splatoon.
Yeah, which is then going to take over your life.
Yes. All right, so Life is Strange Episode 3. Huge news in release front is Hyper Dimension Neptunia Rebirth 2 Sisters Generation, our favorite game ever, which is one of the first games mentioned on this podcast, is going to the PC. So
lucky PC.
Do with that what you may. And in even better news, Hyperdimension Neptunia U Action Unleashed comes to the Vita this week. It's keeping with the trend of 7 Hyperdimension Neptunia games coming out a year.
I swear that there must be one a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane.
All right. And we have 2 amazing games coming out. On PSN this week, you can get Alien Shooter. So, what do you think Alien Shooter is about, Neil?
I know nothing about this game, but I hope to God you shoot some aliens.
What if it's just like a farming sim, and they're just fucking with you? All right, so
what if
Alien
it's just like a terrible? I'm not gonna go there. That's a bad thing to do. Never mind, Steve. Move on.
What if it's Halo?
It's just a knockoff version of the first game of Halo.
Yeah. All right, so if you thought Alien Shooter was a terrible title, then you'll be surprised because coming to the Wii U this week is Shapes of Grey.
Oh God, it might be Shades. I'm trying to look it up now, but I'm just getting.
It can't be Shades of Grey. Unless it's about bondage.
Which is, I typed it in, that's all I'm looking at now. So we're going to call it Shapes of Grey. It could very easily be Shades of Grey.
It's not.
Maybe the Wii U is getting... I read a very interesting article today on Kotaku.
51 Shades of Grey is what the game's called.
There's a super interesting article on Kotaku about about what porn people watch on the Xbox versus PS4.
Okay.
And this lady's like super excited, and she like breaks it all down, and she says like what they're gonna get into, and like virtual reality's not there yet, and like so maybe Shades of Grey is Wii U kind of breaking into it.
I
Shades of
would
Grey.
be so disturbed. Um. All right. And lastly, I mean, like we said coming in, it's a light release week other than Witcher 3. You got Puzzles and Dragons Z and Puzzles and Dragons Super Mario Brothers Edition coming to the 3DS. I don't know why you have 3DS E.
That's what it said. I think is that the new one?
No, I mean, it's just out for the 3DS.
Okay. It said E. I didn't know if that was the Nintendo thing I didn't get, so I put it there.
If you're not familiar with this, it's an RPG puzzle game. This includes two versions, obviously. One that's the normal one, Puzzles and Dragons, and one that's not a reskin, because I hear it actually plays quite differently, but one that instead of using dragons, uses a bunch of Mario characters and stuff. So, I mean, I've watched some video gameplay on this. I'm not interested in it just because I'm not really a fan of match games. That's what this
to. My friend, because I think this used to be an app, which I can't say.
It is an app.
Okay.
It's actually
it is, yeah.
The most popular app in Japan for the last 2 years.
Okay. That makes my friend has the app and she's obsessed with it.
Yeah,
like, she loves it. Like people love this game.
I guess that there's a demo, I think. Yeah, there's a demo. So like I might just download that and see what it's all about, but I just generally don't like these games.
So for people that don't know what this game basically is, it seems like a dungeon crawler aspect.
Yep.
Where you then encounter random enemies, and to do damage to them, you then play a type of mini game that's like Bejeweled or Candy Crush.
And then there's like all like different stuff you have to be aware of. Like you have to so you make your party. So like if you're in a place that has like a lot of fire things, you want to have a bunch of ice things because it'll do double damage if you match the ice emblem, stuff like that.
It must be popular for a reason. It doesn't sound like my kind of game, but
it's not Neil's cup of tea.
It's not Alien Shooter, that's for sure.
It's not Alien Shooter. So that wraps up the releases, kind of disappointingly.
Witcher 3. I'm just gonna bring that up for every news topic you talk about. I'm gonna just weasel it into Witcher 3.
Speaking of the news, let's talk about it. Speaking of the news, let's talk about it. That's up there at my greatest ever.
Tell me about it, Steve.
So, I mean, really isn't surprising, but apparently some freelance 3D artists, they had listed a Fallout 4 trailer on their resume on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, this just feeds into the fact that everybody and their mother expects Bethesda to come out and announce Fallout 4 at E3.
Yeah, it's just, and then it disappeared on his resume. Like, he took it off, so that it's probably going to be announced. And
I expected as much, actually.
I know we totally, some podcast ago, we called what we thought would be announced. And I don't remember what I said. But Fallout 4 sounds like something I would agree with.
I think it's announced, and I think it comes out this year.
This year, and then it's going to be delayed until 2016.
No, I think it comes out this year because Bethesda is really good about that. The only game they announced in the last 10 years that was not announced within 6 months of release was Skyrim, and the reason they did it is because they wanted to release on 11/11/11, and they wanted to make sure that no other games chose that day. So they announced that like a year and a half beforehand. So
okay,
I mean, like Fallout 3 was announced at E3 and came out later that year.
That's a good point. I mean, all the games come out with massive bugs, so
yeah, exactly. They just rush them out anyway.
Yeah, but to be fair, they're giant games, and
they are.
And there was
that would be a massive drop.
Oh yeah,
if that came out.
Was the last game Skyrim? They have more recently than that, right?
The last game is the Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay.
All right, so that's exciting. I'm definitely will play Fallout 4, assuming that is correct. Which
are you? So you're a big Fallout person?
I mean, I just love the worlds that Bethesda makes. You know what I mean?
Okay, Yeah,
love
I agree with
Bethesda
that. Every
games.
game you
I don't
see,
like if I had a choice, I would rather they would just announce the Elder Scrolls 6.
yeah.
You know,
But I
but
mean, but you also like Dishonored, and you don't like
I did
Skyrim
like
as
this
much as
on.
Oblivion.
Yes, I loved Oblivion. Oh my god, so much better than Skyrim for so many
And
reasons.
everyone loves Skyrim. How much does that bother you?
It's just Skyrim's so boring in comparison because the side quests are all awful. The side quests in Oblivion are so memorable. There's like, like the murder mystery one, the one where you have to help the town when it's raining and like it just starts raining cats and dogs and they're all on fire, stuff like that. And
What?
like, yeah, the
I
the
had no idea.
the Daedric quests in Oblivion are some of the most like memorable things I've ever played in a video game. And then like there was like a group of 12 quests in Skyrim. They were like the shrine quests. Those were memorable and the other ones were terrible. So I just, that's just
Yeah.
my
I
opinion.
mean, that's fair. I can say I did not like Oblivion at all. I
Really.
I kind of like Skyrim. I didn't like the combat. I
I
like the
like I like the world of Oblivion better too because Skyrim's so washed out. Oblivion had, mountains to swampland. It had everything.
Yeah, Skyrim was a lot of like I mean, it was diverse, but it was mostly just flat
Yep.
grassland kind of thing.
Flat grassland, and it all looked like it was, I mean, based on the topography of Tamriel, it was in the top north, so like that kind of makes sense. But
Never before have you sounded more of a nerd. I am very proud of you.
I love I love
Oblivion.
I love the world of the Elder
Uh-uh.
Scrolls. So
Yeah, the I guess it goes to show that people like dragons more than anything else. And if you put
I did.
dragons in the game, that was like I think people were calling that like the year of the dragon because there were so many games with dragons in it.
hmm
Reference, but I
There
do
was-
the one thing of Skyrim that I really liked was
Neil, do you like dragons?
I love dragons.
Like
Should
me,
probably play
dragon.
some puzzle dragons. Um, there was this one instance where I did this whole big story quest, and maybe it's a long side quest, but it was like one of those quests that takes like well over an hour at least, probably longer, and it ended up with me like running through a cave, and I was like barely holding on, like my life was getting really weak, and I was like running out of stuff, and there was this giant troll like guarding the exit.
A real troll or an internet troll?
It was just an internet troll and just heckled me the whole time about my equipment I was wearing and the NPC I was rolling with. But it was a real I think it was a Yeti actually because we were up in the mountains. And so I finally defeated this Yeti and I was like, oh, finally I'm like safe. I did it and I stepped out of this cave and this dragon just lands like 5 feet from me and just starts breathing fire. So I immediately just like went into a dragon fight
Mm-hmm.
and was able to kill this dragon. So it was kind of cool to see like these random dragons flying around attacking, but I didn't play enough of Oblivion to really judge it. I couldn't get into the combat, and like it always zooms in on the character's face when you talk to them. That really weirded me out.
Yeah.
But besides that, Fallout 4 probably coming.
Yes, Fallout 4. Tom Clancy's Division was delayed to 2016, so you have to wait a little bit longer for that. But the good news is that Rainbow Six Siege is a confirmed release date of October 13th, which I know is a game that we're looking forward to.
Yeah,
That I'm looking forward to.
I know. I absolutely am. I'm hoping it doesn't get I'm gonna call it the evolved syndrome, where it's just like boring, repetitive, and you get tired of it, and that
Yeah.
it's more. I bet if we got together, like if we got evolved together, it would be a lot of fun. But it seems more like a game that we would play like a shoot like a shooter like that is usually what we hop on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, though I love the last Rainbow Six Vegas 2. It's one of my favorite games last gen. So I had a lot of good times. I hope they include the terrorist hunt mode that was in this. So we will see.
You think they would because it is all about that
Yeah.
play, and they would just have like a horde mode like that
So I mean, I'm sure they will,
if they know what's good for them.
which they do. How many towers am I gonna have to climb in that game?
Right? You gotta send your sniper up there and
Yeah,
reveal the map, and then
Reveal the
level
map.
up some progression skills.
Um. So speaking of Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Syndicate was revealed, and there's no multiplayer in it.
Yeah, I don't.
Which I mean is half, six of one, half dozen of another. Do you like that one?
Yeah, yeah. My mom uses that one.
Mine too. Because we're brothers. No, we're not.
If I was gonna say if only, but
If,
then we couldn't be together in that way that we want to be.
oh God. Uh, so I mean, this is really inconsequential. Although I did like Assassin's Creed multiplayers in the past, it's something I would spend maybe, you know, 5, 6 hours on just killing time. So
Yeah, it's like it's fun, but I guess the thought is because they're also really polished multiplayers. They're not just tacked on there. Like they have game modes and depth and long
yeah.
progression systems and stuff, but they're just people don't play them long enough. I think
Mhm.
so. Instead, they're just going to focus that into something else, which I'm completely okay with.
Um. So let's hope it's a better outing than Unity for sure, because that was disappointing.
Yeah, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they just trying their best not to end up like Unity. It seems like everything they're doing is the
It's
exact
the
opposite of
opposite,
Unity,
yeah.
which is smart. I mean,
Yeah. And although I hope that they would include those scary faces. That remember
all the pop
yeah,
out textures and stuff.
yeah, the pop-up textures, and like it was just floating eyes and mouth.
It's horrifying.
So yeah, that'll be that's your daily or your weekly Ubisoft news right there. Update. Let's talk about three things. Hold on, four things that excite me.
I'm glad I put some stuff on here that made you excited.
This doesn't excite me, but it pertains to me. The Ratchet and Clank movie was delayed, and the game was delayed to 2016. But this is good news because Sylvester Stallone's in the movie. So
I didn't put it on here, but I wanted to know if you knew that because
Yep.
they have a pretty good cast actually, and I'm sure you.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm pumped for the movie. Absolutely pumped. Although it's just the story of the first game, which I've played like 7 times, but still, like interested to see, like how it adapts because this was like my favorite game growing up, and to see it getting a full retail release, a full like movie cinema release is crazy to me. I never would have thought that.
Yeah,
But
I mean
it's got the potential, I think, if they do it well, to attract kids. I mean, it's fun. Like that series is funny, and the thing is, like, it has to be PG, because the games would always like border on innuendo and inappropriateness. So I hope it's PG so they can continue to do that. Like have like the double entendre jokes.
Yeah, yeah.
Kids can't get it, but parents do. Stuff like that needs to be in there. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think they will.
As for the game, it's just a remaster of the first one, but like built from the ground up. So like that's just like I kind of wish they would just make a brand new one, but
Yeah, but I mean, I've never played a single Ratchet and Clank game, so this will probably give me a chance to play the first one and experience
which
the movie.
is, to be honest, like the worst of like the first four. Which are,
oh, really?
I'd say of there's 4 Ratchet and Clank games that are really worth playing. The first one, Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlocked, and Up Your Arsenal is the best of them all by far. The first one's just okay, to be honest, but I can see why they're doing a remaster just because it ties in with the movie.
You'd think they would do a remaster of the 3 games though, bundled together.
I
know they
on the PS3.
Yeah, but they just did Final Fantasy on the PS3 and they just brought it to the PS4.
Well, they might. I think what they might do is they just might make them available on PlayStation Now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's probably it.
So, if anyone out there wants to play a Ratchet and Clank game just to see what it's all about, play Up Your Arsenal or Going Commando. Those two are amazing.
Can you skip the first one?
You can skip the first one, yes, because it's just like a completely different feel. It's a great game, absolutely a great game, but it feels dated. Going Commando and Up Your Arsenal and Deadlocked, for that reason, do not feel dated. In fact, Deadlock, you can play the entire campaign co-op, which is amazing, because me and my best friends were both Ratchet and Clank fans, so we played that game through like 1,000 times.
I love when games do that.
Oh man, so good. So if you want to play one of them, I would suggest you could skip the first, play Going Commando, Up Your Arsenal, and Deadlocked in order. And that's all you need. And then I mean, as far as the part PS3 goes, those games are good too. A Crack in Time is unbelievable. So if you want to play a PS3 one, I was just talking PS2 the whole time. The PS3 ones, you have the A Crack in Time. Jesus, what's the first one? Future something, I forget what the first one came out. Tools of Destruction, A Crack in Time.
I thought there was only 3.
No, I was talking. There's only the ones you should play on the PS2. But then there's on the PS3.
God, I had no idea. I thought it was like right along with Jack and Daxter. It was just those 3. Like that has 3 games, this is 3 games, and they both moved on to other things. I had no idea there was this many Ratchet and Clank games.
No, Ratchet and Clank has been around forever now. Hold on, I'm gonna see how many are on the PS3. I need to know. Tools of Destruction and A Crack in Time. A Crack in Time is really good. If you have a PS3, play that. It's got an open world, or I should say, open space flying system. So you can. It's like what No Man's Sky is doing. Like you take off from one planet, you can like fly to the other one and land. It's really cool. Anyway. So that's the first thing that excites me. The second one is that Divinity Original Sin is coming to the PS4, which is a PS2 game. I mean, a PS2 game.
A PC game. A game that you've been really excited about.
Yep.
And try to convince me to get, which I was hesitant on.
Yeah.
Until I started reading more into just like I read reviews and just other old stuff about it.
Yeah.
And now I'm kind of getting excited for it. Like, I didn't know that like it just co-op through the whole thing, and then
co-op through the whole thing, Fire Emblem type game, tactical, but then it's like mixed with real time strategy. It looks really good.
And then the thing that interested me is that I guess you have to make decisions together.
Yep.
And you get to like argue with one another for what you should do, and I think that'd be so much fun to play if we were playing together and like we were just trying to make some decision.
Yeah.
Of whatever it is, and it seems like it's I guess a kind of not a quirky game, but it has humor to it, which I didn't expect. I thought it was like a no nonsense, just strictly like Diablo style game that has a little more tactic to it. But I'm really interested in it now. So
well, I'm glad. It's a shame that it comes out in the holiday season and not over the summer, though.
It should come out in the summer. It's strange that it's coming out. I agree with that.
So that excites me. This is number 2. Neil, are you taking notes?
Yeah.
Number 3. Stretchmo is free to try for the 3DS, which doesn't excite me. But the fact that they just dropped Stretchmo out of nowhere for the 3DS really excites me because I love Pushmo and I love Crashmo. So not a lot to say there, but I'll say.
But yeah, it's enough that because you've been telling me that Pushmo is good to get, and now this is something I could try and be like, oh, yeah. I might actually go and get Pushmo now. And it's also, it feels like a free app essentially, where it's like you get it and then pay to play. You have to pay more or freemium or whatever it's called. And so I'll probably try it. I got to download the Box Boy thing too.
Great. And last but not least, for things that excite me, and this one really excites me, the makers of Adventure Time are making a costume quest show. This is huge, Neil.
As soon as I saw this, I was like, Steve is gonna love me.
I actually didn't know this.
I didn't either.
You put this on here.
Did you look it up like as soon as I said that? You're like, I need to know more.
I clicked the link, man.
Yeah, I want everyone to know that when I put these news stories on here, I like to link them to the pages so Steve can, do a little reading if he needs to.
What? Like, when's this come out? I need this now.
I'm actually really excited. After seeing Costume Quest and seeing kind of the quirkiness to it and knowing how much I love Adventure Time, I'm really excited, and I will honestly probably watch this show.
I need this. Costume Quest is like one of my favorite games, which is like so weird, but it is.
I'm starting to think that TV shows like just market to adults, but since they're a cartoon, they just like let kids watch them.
Pretty much.
Is what
Damn, Neil. Now I'm just really impatient. Do you want to take these last 3 while I stew over my thoughts?
Absolutely. So, big news for us. Not really, but kind of. Twitch will now shorten the delay and the pause between streaming and people watching, which I guess I'm still not 100% sure, but it could be relative to how good the streamer's internet connection is. So for me, it's terrible. Whenever I stream, I can't even watch my own stream on the computer. It almost always grays out, but I just have the chat box up. And so I think they said they're going to release it by like 32 or 33%, something like that. And the only thing it may affect is buffering for people with really, really slow internet. But it's
Uh-huh.
but it's up to the streamer to decide if they want to do that or not. So it's not just like it doesn't affect everybody. You don't have to like be a premium member or something like that. And so I like the option of doing that because a lot of times it can get kind of awkward. Not awkward, but you know what I mean. Like you say
No,
you're lost and you're waiting for something to happen, and then you read a comment 40 seconds later saying the person being like you missed a key back in that chest or something like that. So
yeah.
anything that shortens that is great as long as it doesn't get too terrible. My guess is they're trying to shorten it a little bit more and more, testing it out. If this works well, I bet they'll try to push it because clearly the best would be no delay almost,
Mm-hmm.
but it has to do with buffering of the video, and I understand that. And
Stand it as well.
and the thing that has me somewhat excited. I don't. Did you ever play like Rogue Squadron back in the N64?
No, I didn't.
It was this great Star Wars combat simulator game, air simulator. I mean, and like it was a ton of fun. You had these really cool missions. It kind of reminded me of Star Fox a little bit when you got to like fly in the big open areas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so Battlefront is going to have a squadron fighter mode,
Oh.
which so I'm so excited about this. Ooh, which in Battlefront 2, they kind of had that. You could fly ships around, but it wasn't too anything crazy. And there was space battles where you had to fly a ship into like a star destroyer,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and like stuff like that. Like and so that would be cool if they implement that and they do it well. Like back then, it was kind of like I want to see what they can do now with the engines and capable. And like I know that's what people love about Battlefield is all the jets and helicopters. So if they have stuff like that flying around, it's getting me more excited. And I know in Battlefield they do have a dogfighter mode where you just fly jets in a big
That's
dogfight.
illegal. It's illegal.
And so I think that's what's this. The first time I thought you said that was really cool, and the second time I heard you said that's illegal. But the worst news, it's not really bad news.
Yes.
Me and Steve were just Sony fanboys or ponies or whatever
Yeah.
they're calling us now, lovers. Xbox One was April's best-selling console. So
Why? All those great games you can play on it.
I think it's because the price finally dropped enough, which apparently is making it lose money. Like it's not making money because the price is too low. They're selling it for like $350 now, right?
Yeah, but it's been like that for a while.
Yeah, that's true. But I think it's just been a matter of I'm trying to think of any games that came out for it recently. I don't think there's anything crazy. But I do know that
It just pisses me off because Bloodborne came out at the end of March. So, like, obviously that should have propelled the PS4 to be a good seller. But no, people got to play Call of Duty DLC.
yeah, but I mean, they even PlayStation like tweeted or whatever like, oh yeah, just to remind everybody we're still the worldwide best console or something like
Yeah.
that. But I
Mhm.
mean, it's showing that Xbox is finally making it, not dying. But I remember reading that since it used to be $500 and they dropped it to $350, that it's not making enough money to
Yeah.
self-sustain itself right now. They're trying to do it through other means, basically. But I think that I'm trying to think. This is the first time, right? So like since the release, PlayStation has been the best-selling console every month until now. I think, which is crazy. Which is
Uh-huh.
I think it was definitely Xbox 360 last time. But who knows? So I mean, that's just some cool news for all you.
Ah, you Xbots out there.
Yeah.
You scum. No, we don't hate Xbox that much. Well,
I bet we don't
some
hate it. We
days.
just don't have it. I would like to think, Steve,
okay.
that we are,
Don't hurt yourself.
dare I say, an upper class gamer.
Upper class.
No.
Okay.
Not really.
I'll do that. I'll go with that. Upper class.
We're an upper class, and we see the good games like Bloodborne coming out.
Bloodborne, yeah. Sorry, I was watching our own YouTube video there.
Are you watching the old Epic Save?
I was seeing how many views it got. It's up to 13.
Oh,
No
really?
likes.
I was about to say 3. So
So go on. Sorry.
There's no. That's about it. I'm not gonna rant anymore about it. We don't actually hate Xbox. We just like to joke around that we do.
We
I,
just we don't hate Xbox. We just have never owned one and have no interest in the games.
I was about to say I'm actually amazed I don't have one yet. I've never had that money. It's always been like
See, like my problem is like I have a Wii U, a PS4, and the 360, and I have enough to play. Like I cannot
you
get
have a
an.
360.
I mean, not a 360, a 3DS.
Oh, I was gonna say, you liar! You do have one. Yeah. See, I think if I'm gonna buy anything, it's gonna be a Wii U now, because those games look more appealing. There is no game that makes me want to get an Xbox.
Splatoon, Super Smash, PS4, Mario Kart 8, Bayonetta 2. Should I go on?
Yes.
Captain Toad.
We we shall move on to what we've been playing.
Okay,
Steve.
I'll go first. I've been playing Hearthstone still. I might as well take that off because I'll be playing Hearthstone until the day I die.
I was gonna say that I feel like we should stop talking about it because it's literally we're just gonna never stop playing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I've just been playing it. I've been running as a druid. I've been doing pretty well. I have this sick card. That's just I like every time I play it. It's just a game ender. So let me tell you what I've been doing with it. It's a card. It's a legendary card for 8 mana, and what it does is that as long as it's alive, at the end of the turn, any minions that died respawn. Right.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's insane. So I load my deck with taunts, and then I get taunts down, and then basically if I have 2 taunts or even 1 taunt, and I finally draw this card and I'm able to play it, the game's over because the guy has to attack the taunt, and I'll buff the taunt up to like 8/8. So he keeps attacking the taunt. The taunt dies. He's out of turns, and then like the round ends, and the taunt just comes back, and I can play another taunt. And then they has to kill both taunts, and he can't touch the guy. And then like the thing comes back, and the 2 taunts come out, and I can play 2 more taunts. So then, like, eventually, I just have the board full of taunts in this one guy, and I just get them to concede every time because then I can just start flinging them forwards and kill other people. It's literally impossible to beat.
Is he immune to spells and stuff?
Like, he's an 8/8, and no one's ever tried. I mean, like when you have taunts down, most spells have to go to them. It says you can't target them right now or whatever. So
I don't know. I guess I'm just thinking, like that's a sick card. Not going to deny that. That's really overpowered from what I see. But I can easily see you getting really in that strategy and throwing it down on someone like hits it with that sheep card.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a way for them to get out of it or defend against it, which I won't be mad if it happens because literally, like every time I've been able to play it, I've won. So I think I'm 6-0 with getting it on the board. So once it's down on the board, because I also, to make this even less fair, I have 2 cards on my deck that are 3/5 taunts, and if they die, they spawn a 1/2 taunt.
Oh,
so basically,
God.
what happens is I have the 3/5 guy, right, and I swipe him and he dies. So the 1/2 takes his place, but then the turn ends and the 3/5 comes back, and the 1/2 is still there. So then if the 3/5 dies again, another 1/2 guy comes, and then the 3/5 comes back again. So it's just like an infinite series of just I can get as many taunts as I want just by using these 2 cards next to each other. So yeah, I just keep doing that. But yeah, it's awesome.
It really is. That's such a sick combo.
And then I was actually this is great too. I was able to play him, and then I got my other legendary. I have 4 legendaries in my deck right now.
I own 1.
So I put this other legendary down that everybody on the board gets +2/+2. So I had both of them down, and because he's not taunt, you can't touch him either. So I had the entire board full of 7/7 taunts and 2 legendaries, and I had 6 health, and the guy had 30, and he just quit. He's like, fuck this, because I could have taken them out in 1 turn.
Let me just interject with Hearthstone before you move on while we're talking about it. I was in the arena, so I got this one card that it was not the greatest, but it gave me some good chances. And it's a dragon that's 8/8, and when you play it, you fill the rest of your playing field with like 1/1 dragons.
Yeah,
So this one guy had me.
I've
He
seen that.
he had me like the 5 cards to nothing. And I threw that one out, and I was able to. I didn't end up winning, but I made like a really good comeback from all of that because I was just able to take out like all his taunts in a row, then have this 8/8 dragon out there,
Yeah.
and I think I like taunted that up too and stuff. So I like the arena because you get to discover these really cool cards, but I don't have like every pack I've opened up, I haven't added a single card. I think the last 5 packs I've opened, I haven't added a single card to my deck.
I got a couple cards I like from the pack that you won me.
Ah,
Uh,
you're welcome.
yeah, I know it's huge. One of them, I love Wind Fury cards. So you got me a Wind Fury card,
Oh
and then
yeah.
I got another card that I really liked that I can't remember what it is, but yeah, I mean, I'm really enjoying it, and I play it a lot. I play it too much at work, but I'm also quitting a job in a month, so I really don't care anymore.
That's true. I mean,
So
I just started playing as a shaman a little bit, which I never played as before. But I stacked his deck with a bunch of Wind Furies, like you were saying,
Wind
and
Furies and buffs, man, they're really good.
so good. And I think I have like a couple cards that grant other people Wind Fury. And
Hmm.
oh, there's this
That's what
one
I need. I don't have any cards that grant Wind Fury. I really want
that
one.
is best. My favorite combo that I have right now for my beast deck is there's this. It's all they're almost all beasts. I think I have only 2 cards that's not, and one of them when you play it, every card that plays, every beast that plays has charge,
Hmm.
and so I always throw that down, and people, and it's not that strong, so people are like, all right, whatever. And then the next time I throw down like a 9/5 or an 8/8 or something, and just attack it right off the bat. And
Yeah,
I want to find a card to give that Wind Fury because if I could put it with charge and Wind Fury,
that would be
oh
unstoppable.
god, it would be amazing.
So other than that, I'm playing. I played Box Boy. I actually beat the main game yesterday. And I have 5 bonus worlds left. It still remains very good, very worth your $5. So I highly recommend. Uh, and then why don't you touch what else you've been playing other than what we've been playing together, so we can discuss it together.
Okay, so I wanted to play this game Torin. I just saw it like a couple days ago. It looked really cool. It looked like Ico. Um,
Uh,
and that's what it was
Is it
kind of.
Ico or Ico?
I don't know.
I
I,
don't.
I I see.
Hey, you say tomato. I say tomato.
Yeah, it's whatever. Um, I was trying to think of another way to say it. So Torin is this game that looks like Ico. I is it C and S? ISO.
Ico. No, I think it's Ico or Ico.
So point is, this game looked like that. The whole point was you're in this mysterious world. You play as this girl that like grows up as you play. She'll grow up and like unlock new puzzle strategies. Like, oh, she was a little kid, but now as she's older, she carries a sword and like all this crazy stuff. And turned out to be terrible.
Yeah,
A pretty bad game
of
with
course.
with just an interesting concept. It's only $10, so
Uh-huh.
I was a little worried at that point that it wasn't like at least 15. It's only about 2 hours long. It's got some of the clunkiest controls ever. It's really hard to move and to turn, and you like walk through walls and you fall through the floor, and you like it's just glitchy, full of bugs, boring, pretty not really good game. But the only interesting concept to it, and that's just because I kind of like reading into things a little bit. I mean, it's got imagery and stuff that's like it throws it in your face, trying to be like I don't know, like secretive and cryptic and stuff, but it's not. It's like it's clearly like there's the tree of life and it's a
Yeah.
Tower of Babel. It's a giant tower to reach the gods. Like it's very obvious. But
Uh-huh.
but what's cool is that this girl is basically trying to fight a dragon, and she's locked in like this cycle of death. So every time you die, you're just reborn as a little girl and you start it again. And when you
Yeah.
kind of realize that, you see all these statues throughout the tower and you realize those are all like past lives because the dragon turns you to stone
Yeah.
when it tries to kill you. And you have to like use those statues kind of as like cover, and one time you use it almost as like a bridge. And so that thought, like one time I like the story kills you at a certain point and I was like, oh, that sucks, whatever. And then I got back to the point and I realized the way I die I could like jump off my dead body or whatever and get to the next area. So that was kind of a cool thought. Besides that, not worth playing, totally a waste of time.
Hmm.
And good news is there was another game we were playing that was a
Yes.
lot more fun.
Which actually we have our last chance to play tonight.
And
Um,
yeah,
which we will be doing.
which is why we're trying to finish this up as soon as possible.
Well,
to
actually,
go.
I have to take a shower afterwards.
No,
Well, I haven't yet. I had so much stuff to do after work.
I gotcha.
Rocket League demo.
Oh, so
Yeah.
good.
It's so much fun. We played it for like 3 hours last Thursday, which was my birthday, which Neil forgot.
I honestly, I feel so bad about it.
The
I
qualified gamer guys do not stick together.
I felt bad enough. I felt bad enough where I looked up if it was possible for me to buy you card packs in Hearthstone.
Oh, you didn't need to do that.
And then when I found out you couldn't, I just gave up and said it's too late. I'll get him something next birthday.
Next birthday, and I'll still be playing Hearthstone. So
And maybe
by then they'll add in the capability.
But how cool would that have been if you sign in as like, hey, you got a gift from Neil? I figured Battle.net would do stuff like that, but it's like,
They like sent me like a $5 Apple gift card.
nah. You use Spotify.
And then I would put that in the Apple Store and used it for Hearthstone because that's how I play Hearthstone, is through the App Store.
Oh, well, there's an idea. I didn't know that.
Ho ho ho! Anyway, do that, Neil. I've given them way too much money for cards already.
Have you bought cards?
Oh yeah, I actually for my birthday I bought 4 packs.
Oh,
Like as a gift to myself. I
oh,
bought
see, I
two
totally
pack
oh,
two
man.
packs for the I bought two of the whatever they call that one, the goblins and whatever, like the red
How
pack.
was the Goblin ones?
They're okay. Like I was just like hunting for this one legendary I read about that's in that one, and then I bought two of the normal pack, which then I got that really good legendary card. So
Oh, well, as long as you get the legendary. I definitely have the theory that if you do worse in the arena, you don't get a good pack.
yeah, I think so too.
Because I think I'm just going to start buying a couple packs because I want better cards. I don't have any good ones. What Rocket League?
Yeah. So I mean,
So after we played this for like 3 hours. You were going to go out with your friend, and then you were kind of tired or whatever, but you really just wanted to keep playing Rocket League. And then the next day, you played it again with your friend for a bit, right?
Yep.
And then the next day, I played it with my brothers, both of them, because I think you can do 4-player split screen in it.
You can.
If you can do 3-player, I imagine they'll have 4, which isn't bad. If you use the ball cam,
Yeah.
it works fine. You don't have to worry about like a small field of vision because you're always on the ball. And
You're always looking.
we played it. I think we started around like 4 or 5. And we played it till like 10:30. Like we could not stop playing this game, and we would get in these matches with like 3 other people, and we would play them for like an hour and a half. Like after every game, they'd be like, "Oh, you had a really good goal," and you like because a little chat box pops up for people that don't know, and you can usually just say, "Oh, good game," or "I messed up" or something. But we were like literally complimenting each other, and like we knew, like as you told Steve mentioned this to me before, like you learn what other people are good at. Like that guy's good at being a goalie.
Yeah.
If we get him on our team, we'll play offense and stuff like that. But since I was playing with my 2 brothers, it was 3-on-3. My one brother was always in the back as a goalie. My other one always just took people out.
Yeah.
And he would take out the other goalie before like I would shoot. Which speaking of which, I didn't know you could double jump and hit the X button twice. Which is
Dumbass.
the entire game. You jump once and then you hit X again to give yourself a little boost to either hit the ball. And you see people do like a forward flip to hit it, or do a barrel roll to hit it right or left. I was manually doing that. I was jumping and then pushing the joystick to do a flip. And then to do a barrel roll, you have to jump, hold the square button, and then move the joystick. And that's what I was doing. Because that's what I thought you had to do. Because I'm an idiot.
Yes, Neil. Yes, you are. It's been awesome now. I've been really enjoying it. I think that it'll be a definite purchase when it comes out in summer, which they said. I would hope it would be sooner rather than later. So,
Yeah, I mean, I think the demo, besides some connectivity issues, which is solely on me,
yep,
I think it's performing really well.
me too.
And so and this is the second beta, I think, is what I read.
Yeah, there was one a couple weeks ago.
So I really hope this comes out soon because I would absolutely purchase it immediately. And this beta alone, I've put close to 10 hours.
Yep, me too. And I'm looking forward to playing it again tonight.
Yeah, so let's wrap this up so we can go play that.
All right. Well, do you want to wrap this up so we can play with some balls?
I like it. I thought you were going to do a little Rocket Man, or let's get this rocket into space. But I like that one.
Thanks for joining us for the 17th episode. 17? Yeah, 17th episode of the Qualified Gamer Guys podcast. You can find this on YouTube. If you're listening to it, you're probably there already. So do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. You can get a little notification on Twitter, or tweet as they call them.
little Twitter notifications.
Every time that we post a video, we'll tweet something else. So if you want that, you can follow us over at Qualified GGS on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitch, which we actually did stream last week. We streamed Rocket League.
We should stream it tonight.
We will.
Oh.
Ooh. You can follow us on Twitch at
twitch.tv/Qualified Gamer Guys.
You can follow us at Qualified Gamer Guys on Twitch. If you liked our intro video, make sure you head over to soundcloud.com/GearheadEVM. Follow my friend over there that made that. He also made our logo. He's a talented bloke. Do you have anything else that you want, Neil?
Nope. Got nothing.
Neil's got nothing.
Witcher 3.
Yes, that's what he'll be doing. All right, we'll be back next week talking about The Witcher 3, talking about the end of the Rocket League beta. Yeah.
Oh, man. Exclusive sneak preview.
Have a happy week, and bye-bye.